Hello everybody, welcome to the second video of Saturday. I'm spending a bit of time catching up on things since midweek's live stream. There was a lot to unpack and you'll hopefully see by the, well, I say that tomorrow we're going to be looking at the Deathless Thanos abilities. Then on Monday we're going to be doing new champion reworks as the update will go live, I think. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff to go over from that live stream. I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals. Link in the description to the other channel if you want to go and check out what's going on there. So, we're going to go back into because there's some things that we need to talk about. Okay, going back to Necropolis requires units. That's a big issue going into December. We have very specific tags and specific paths. These two are going to be a problem as well to it. Acquiring revives and health potions versus unit spend, and bringing down unit spend at a time when it's going to be quite costly even to do two half paths. We have got to really consider what's going on with that. And also this statement here, I've got nothing against anybody that likes Wong, and I've got nothing against anybody that likes using Wong in Necropolis, but I don't like that being a statement point here, because the created pool and tag champions become a big issue when you're like, hey, I have a limited, I don't have Wong. I mean, I do, but I mean, if other people, I don't have Wong, or I don't have these champions, or is this the champion that's been advertised? Because, hey, do you remember when Baron Zemo was thrown around a lot? Baron Zemo can take on the Necropolis. Baron Zemo. And then that fizzled out, didn't it? Yeah, remember that. Yeah, that's something that I just kind of want to point out right off the bat. But from the best part, I am actually excited to go back into Necropolis. Not so excited to part with all my units. And of course, it's made me rethink what I'm going to do for the Banquet event. Because for the last 2 to 3 months, I've been saying, hey, you know, my units, I'm going to try and have 25k units by the end of, the event, January 3rd. And I'm going to reinvest that back in, it's going to be cool, that. Well, this throws a spanner in the works, doesn't it? Of course, that means we've got to go out of our way to consider, are these rewards on screen worth the effort? And largely, yes, that is the case. You will have to then, suffer the pain to get the pleasure. It's a weird assessment, but effectively that is that. To get all those 7-star signature stones, 3 Titan crystals, 120k 7-star shards, 7-star awakening gem, tier 7 basic, and more. Of course, the tier 7 basic isn't going to get you a full rank 3 7-star, is it? Sorry, rank 4 7-star. Man, I'd love to see a rank 4 7-star Juggernaut. I do have I really wish Kabam would have put the information about what was happening with the gift. It's not the gifting event, the Banquet event out yesterday, as it's just all about you, the players, having that preparation. And preparation is key. Having the units, having the rank ups. And I am so glad I didn't invest a lot of units, or I didn't invest any units. But for those that invest a load of units into the Cyber Weekend, and even Kabam said about that, you're now having the same problem that I'm so glad I didn't, because I need those units to either go Banquet event or go to this particular Anniversary Cleaners Challenge in Necropolis. And mark my words, you will need units in Necropolis. Yes, you'll need revives as well. But this video, what it's all about is showing you some places you can go to farm certain things. It's all about looking at the perspective of the Banquet event, the units you require from it, and other types of times Kabam have said, because they did give this indication, you won't need quite as many units this time for the Banquet event. And I'm not saying I don't trust... No, I don't trust Kabam when it comes to stuff like this. They've just put a spicy new crystal in for this particular year of the Banquet event, number 1. And number 2, I think we've been here before. I think last time, 2022, it was like 3,000 units. And it was 3 times as much in 2023 that you needed units-wise to get all the milestones. Granted, you don't have to get all the milestones, but all the spicy things are at the end of it. So you kind of go, I've got 9,000 units. Yeah, but I'm only going to spend 3,000 of them. I'm happy to get just 1 7-star. Said nobody. If they had 9,000 units and a load of stuff that's in the milestones, you'll probably go, yeah, I want all that stuff. Not this stuff because it's not the 2024 stuff, but granted it's going to be better because Kabam say it's going to be better, so therefore you'd go and grab it, wouldn't you? All joking aside, I think it's time for us to just think a little bit and be a bit cautious. I didn't think I was going to be cautious this year. I thought it would be like, right, my units are going towards the Banquet event, and that's fine. For those that want to get something out of the Necropolis-based anniversary challenges, which I am now repositioning my thought process towards, I'm now like, okay, how do we do this? What do we need to grab? Where do we grab this? And take it from there. So with a champion pool largely unknown, I think it's important to, well, open up all of the crystals that you have so far, or at least wait a little, but just get them open before. If you've got them waiting, I don't know, hoarding for whatever reason, you've got 7-star shards, 6-star shards open, is open them up and see what champions you get, because it's going to be important. Selectors, don't open up any selectors if you have them, just because there might be something that you need to target that's specifically from the pool that we don't know of. And on Monday or Tuesday, make sure to check out, and we'll do a follow-up video to this, your filter and then sort by tags. There will be, fingers crossed, a tag that will be specific to tell you what champions might be best to take through. Well, of course, do some guides and some updates and, like, you know, try and figure some stuff out. But that's going to be something that's going to be relatively important to look out for. Also, rank up gems. One thing that I am glad I haven't done is rank up champions. That's because I've just been, you know, so busy personally with other stuff going on. But I am glad in some ways that I haven't done any kind of ranking up. And I've kind of left a lot of my materials there so that I can just go, let's get a champion up further, 7-star, 6-star, whatever star, that is going to be helpful for this particular piece of content. So hopefully you haven't used a lot of these materials, and maybe you're kind of still thinking from the hunter's market what you're going to do and how you're going to target certain champions for that one. So that's definitely that. Your next step is going to have to look at your potion situation. One thing I do advise, and many people advise this as well, is don't open your free potions, and make sure you're doing your super daily. I'm currently sitting on 89 potions at the moment, which means something, but also it means nothing. We do have next week dropping the, what is it called? Next Autumn of Agony. So I'm hoping that I don't spend any of my revives, or much of my revives, because I'm probably going to need that for the Karina's Challenge, dropping on Tuesday the 10th, I think. Anyway, so that's that. That's great. Make sure to kind of like have those in the back. For going through content. You may get revives, you probably get health potions, knowing that. Also, I'd say look out for any kind of revive bundle. The revive bundles I make videos on all the time. I do it because this situation, the level 3 revive, having it in your inventory is going to be a big asset to you. One thing that I've pointed out in the past, if you're a non-spending player, so if you're free to play with the game, how many revives you can hold is going to be vitally important. Currently, I've got 17 level 1 revives, 23, 3 in the stash of the level 2 revives. I've got some team revives, which are going to be relatively important when I throw everything at the wall when it comes to Necropolis. And a lot of people may be doing Necropolis for the very first time, and you will need revives. If we're looking at it from a point of view of going through it, if I remember rightly, and this has always stuck with me, you'll need about 100 revives to take you through a full path. So let's assume for 1 minute you're going through Necropolis. It's going to cost half of the Necropolis. It's largely going to cost you half that. So it's going to cost you 50 revives. And you can hold 50 revives. You can do 10 in your stash, 20 in the level 2, 20 in the level 1. And the rest obviously top up your health pool with health potions. But from a unit standpoint, that's going to be a tricky point, because you might be looking and going, well, that's all well and good, but I can't farm back 50 more revives like that. It's just not possible with the day and age in MCOC. So what's your options? Your options largely without go to certain pieces of content to grab extra revives, which is not a advisable thing nowadays because Kabam nerf it, is units, sadly. So we've got to look at it from a point of view of investment. How many units you're going to need. The quick answer to this, as I put in my notes, or I put it in the description, is about, for all of it, that you need to do 16,000 units. We equate that based on, where is it? This? No, not this. This image here. This image here. And if we bring the calculator in, it's 2,000 units, because it's a half path, divided by 40 per time is 50. So that's how that works there. And what we're doing is we're saying that you've got to do 2 4 paths, which is 2,000 times the 4 equals 8,000 units. And if we're looking at it from you have to do 2 full runs, which is here, then you're plussing on, because again, 40 times 100 for the 100 revives you've got to use, basically times that's in 2. So if you've got a spare 16,000 units, that might be what you need. However, that's not instant. In January, you'll be doing your final run for all death of 7 stars. So you could probably relax and you could probably refarm the 4,000 units you require in January. Now, some people might say, oh, you know, I'll use less units. I'll use less revives. Yeah, and that's absolutely correct. I'm just looking at this from a point of view of going skill level. You know, I'm not the hugest skill player in the game. I know stuff. The same thing with a lot of people. They know stuff, but things happen. And as well, you can't out-damage, most of the time, you can't out-damage the champions that are listed here. It's a bit more trickier than you might think. Take it from someone that's 100%ed it and had to do it as a free-to-play player. You know, I used units and revives, and the last of the farming before that was nerfed. So it's not as straightforward as it used to be. But make sure you were doing your super daily. And again, think about your numbers. The numbers are super daily happens every day. What do you get every day? You get a health potion, you get a revive. A revive over, say, 31 days is 31 revives. That gives you a bit of an indication. 31 level 2 revives plus 31 apothecary revives. That's 60 revives. That's effectively 1 month to do 1 half path and have a little bit remainder extras. So it's not exactly do it quick. It's like you have to use units. That's how I'm looking at it. And I'm sure people like, you know, MSD, different story, and other players, different story. But I'm just saying for the majority of the average Joes, that is going to be the realistic elements of taking this on. Anyway, I hope that helped out, giving a bit of perspective to this, why I think it's important. Kabam, let us know the pool, why it's important, and we'll do a follow-up video at the start of the week in order to go, what champions do we actually get to use? Because it's going to be important to take on the content. Because, as we said, it's a bit of a scary piece of content, Necropolis, especially from a grind perspective. And we don't know the pool, we don't know the tags, and we don't know the paths. And having counters to instances that are in the paths is kind of important. Anyway, that's been it for the video. What are your thoughts on this? Put it in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. And are you using units for a Banquet event, or are you going to hold back on this? Because that's going to be a very real possibility for players. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.